Homeland Security says violent rioters and agitators in Minnesota are trying to obstruct and interfere with their operations to take the worst criminal illegal aliens off America's streets, including child rapists and murderers. ICE Director Todd Lyons said, quote, some of these criminal aliens have had final orders of removal for 30 years, but they've been free to terrorize Minnesotans. ICE arrests prevent recidivism and make communities safer, but it feels like local politicians want to ignore that part and drum up discontent rather than protect their own constituents. Joining us now to discuss is veteran FBI Special Agent in Charge and former Chief of the Chicago PD, Jody Weis. Good morning to you, Jody. These criminal illegal aliens, they have said, are some of the worst, yet the rhetoric from Minnesota officials vilifies ICE agents. What do you say to those Minnesota officials, the governor, the mayor of Minneapolis, who are now even suing the Trump administration over these ICE operations?
Yeah, Jan, it has to stop. This inflammatory rhetoric is so dangerous. And you've got officials who really know nothing about the actual facts immediately claiming that these ICE agents are murderers, that they're causing chaos on the streets. You want to talk about danger to the streets? Look at who these people are arresting. These are the worst of the worst. As you mentioned, child rapists, convicted murderers, and they're being released onto the streets. But this vilification, it makes the public view ICE as, a threat to society. And in some cases, I think actually empowers the public to interfere with federal operations. So it's got to stop.
And what's really terrifying for these ICE agents in Minnesota is that you say police have been largely absent. So who is keeping the peace with these violent protests, not just targeting these agents, but perhaps could be involved with, residents too, whose lives could also be put in danger and harm's way as a result of some of these rioters?
Yeah, in the earliest videos, Jan, the thing that just leaped out at me was, where are the police? Yeah. ICE should be afforded the same level of protection that every resident in the city of Minneapolis gets. And there's nothing out there. No cops were there originally. So you've got groups of people following ICE, blocking their cars. The first thought running through those agents' mind is this an ambush? Now, the courts sadly have blocked the president from putting in the National Guard to protect the federal resources. So what's going to happen? DHS is just going to double the number of agents out there so that they can create a protective bubble to allow ICE to work. But these local officers need to do their jobs. They've got to keep the public safe.
When it comes to the deadly ICE-involved shooting there, what are some of the takeaways you feel are not being addressed in the media, especially perhaps the last couple of days as we learn more about how these events unfolded?
Yeah, let's look at this, Jan. I mean, the woman goes and drops her son off at school. Now, you or I might go to the gym. We may go grab a cup of coffee. Oh, no. She decides to go interfere and harass ICE, interfering with their operation. She blocks the roadway. Agents look at this and they approach her. They order her out of her car, which they can do based on a Supreme Court decision, Pennsylvania versus Mims. She decides she's not going to comply. She refuses. She actually attempts to flee. Her direction of flight leads her into an ICE officer and actually hits him. He then uses deadly force, which is in accordance with DHS policy. So you sadly have someone who has been tragically killed for no reason whatsoever. And think about it, Jan. Life, I'm a simple person. Life is a matter of choices and the consequences. She decided to impede federal agents. Had she just gone about her way, she'd be alive today. But here we have a mother of three who's been brainwashed to the point that she takes on such a risk. At the very least, she might have been arrested and therefore losing time with her children. So what is going on with these people that they can be so brainwashed and just brain rot that they would go out and make these decisions?
I think it's important what you said also, and that is you can't disobey the command of a federal agent. So worry about justice, worry about those things after the fact, but in the moment, stay alive. In the moment, obey commands from any kind of federal official, right? And ICE, of course, would prefer not to be forced to hunt down these criminal illegal aliens. Talk about how these sanctuary city policies are actually causing the highest risk to everyone and what the solution is here.
Yeah, Jan, that's the irony. The elected officials put these sanctuary policies in place to keep the community safe. What they're actually doing is the opposite. It's causing ICE to hunt down these individuals on the streets. The easiest way for ICE to operate would be to show up at the jails, take custody of these individuals who have been marked for deportation, to be handed over in a controlled environment. Everyone is safe. the community, the officers, and actually the illegal aliens. So these sanctuary policies do the opposite. They put everybody at risk. But going back to your one point, and I'll just make it for all the viewers, just comply with police officers. If you feel they did something wrong, you can address that later, but please just comply. You are not going to get shot if you simply follow their directions.
Veteran FBI Special Agent in Charge and former Chief of the Chicago PD, Jody Weis. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jan. Have a good week.
You too.